Hello beautiful people, happy Sunday and welcome to your practical application of astrology and my personal story share. And this is the last one from Mexico. It is Sunday today and I'm flying tomorrow, so literally this is the last video that you will see recorded in Mexico. Before I go any deeper and further with anything else that I want to talk about, I want to say thank you to everyone that wished me happy birthday. Really appreciate it. And I completely forgot to mention in my astrological forecast about my sale, so I'm going to mention it right now before I forget again towards the end, that if you don't know or if you haven't yet and are interested, I do have a 50% birthday sale going on, which is on for another 2 days until April 30th. So if you would like to have a reading with me, then you can book on my website. All the details are in the description, and yeah, we can connect. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that because I completely forgotten in my last video. But yeah, let's just dive into whatever wants to come through in this video. So today actually being Sunday, it is the end of the week. Moon already moved into the sign of Capricorn, so we are ending this week and starting a new one with Moon once again a cardinal sign, but this time it's Capricorn. So there's not just any cardinal sign, this is the Capricorn. So it's all about redefinition and establishing new structure of reality, right? Because we just experienced this Scorpio full moon, which, I mean, it feels like it happened some other month. Like again, I just keep talking about these quantum leaps and how time is passing so quickly, but I literally had to check my phone and my calendar that the Scorpio full moon was actually only a few days ago. To me, it feels like it was ages ago, like it happened in different dimension or something. I can't believe it was literally this week. It was still this week. And ever since, of course, we had Mercury station direct, so things are working a little bit differently now because Mercury is well, obviously it's going forward, but Mercury has done what it needed to do with regards of us having to have to look at things again and start perhaps seeing things or connecting dots in a different way, because Mercury was retrograde in Aries, which is all about this starting a new cycle with regards to the way we're thinking and identifying reality and how we connecting with it. And of course, the Scorpio full moon illuminated everything just before the Mercury, of course, went direct afterwards. So the Scorpio full moon illuminated everything that needed illuminating with regards to what makes us feel disempowered and doesn't work for us anymore because it was squared by Pluto, right? And then today we are experiencing the other big aspect of this week, and that is Mars conjuncting Neptune. It's happening later on tonight, so for you guys across the Atlantic and further, it's already on Monday 29th, but for me here in Mexico still, tonight I'm still in Mexico. It will be later on tonight at 10:30 p.m. Mars will conjunct Neptune. So this is the culmination of the culminations, because Mars is the ruler of the North Node. So this is the where we go in, and it's conjuncting Neptune, which is the endings of endings, right? The endings of the cycles. So of course, Mars will conjunct Neptune again in 2 years' time, but as I mentioned previously, I have a feeling it's going to be already in Aries. So yeah, so this is really profound, and it's so interesting that today is my last day in Mexico, and I don't know if or when I'll be coming back based on everything that I've received with regards to the personal sessions that I've been having, and I've been having quite a few. I've been very fortunate that I was able to treat myself, and also had some friends of mine gifting me sessions for my birthday. So it seems like I might not be coming back to Mexico, or at least not anytime soon. So it's interesting that I had decided that I want to create my last video today on my last day, or all the packing is technically done more or less. So it's just these last few things that needs doing, and yeah, and then I'm off. And it's quite symbolic to me because tomorrow, as we might be aware, also Venus, and Venus is the ruler of my sun. I'm Taurus sun, of course, and also my North Node is in Taurus. Venus is moving into the sign of her rulership into Taurus, and also the day later on the 30th, right? 30th, Mars will be moving into the sign of Aries, into the sign of his rulership, and I believe on the same day we will have the square between Venus and Pluto. Venus from Taurus, and Pluto is in Aquarius, of course. So there are a lot of changes because this is starting a new cycle with regards to Mars is just conjuncting Neptune today. Things are ending. Then Mars is going to be moving into the sign of his rulership, right? But whilst Mars is still on 29 degrees of Pisces, the last degree of Pisces, Venus is the ruler of the South Node, is already moving into the house of her sign of her rulership. So we are literally starting everything anew. We can see the ruler of the North Node in the house in the sign of his rulership, the ruler of the South Node in the sign of her rulership, and everything is post the conjunction to Neptune, of course, now post eclipses, post Scorpio full moon, and all the rest of it. The next one in line will be the new moon in Taurus, ruled by Venus in Taurus, right? So there is a building of this new foundation that we're creating, because of course with Aries it's all about this new seed that is being concepted, right? It's just like a sparkle. But then with Taurus, things start slowly manifesting. They start taking roots, they start taking form, right? So applying this to my personal experience right here, it's very interesting for me to observe this phenomenon, because as I said, my North Node is in Taurus, but it's ruled by Mars because my Taurus is intercepted and the house is ruled by Aries. So both rulers of my North Node, the sign ruler and the house ruler, are literally moving on the 2 days I'm traveling, because I have free flights. It is a little bit of a stressful situation, but cancel, clear, delete, and everything's gonna be fine. But I have free flights with very tight connections, and I'm flying over 2 days. I'm not arriving to Vienna, where my brother will pick me up on Tuesday afternoon, until the following day. So I will be in the air and not able to create any contact during these 2 days, because as I mentioned, my connections are very, very tight. So I will not have time. I will not have time. I'll be happy to just get on the seat and get going with the flights. So I just feel that it's really fascinating, because as I've been sharing, whatever I'm experiencing, I know it's what the collective is experiencing. And of course, we have all sorts of situations going on in the world, which, like I said, with the Scorpio full moon, the things that are now not working anymore, but still make us feel disempowered, are being illuminated. So we are very well aware of those. And that's, of course, something that has been showing up in my life as well. And like I said, these 2 weeks, actually, I've been very fortunate to have a lot of readings with psychics and channelers and tarot readers and stuff. So there's been a lot of insights coming in for me and trying to help me to understand what is culminating for me and where am I going, what is my next direction, so I can then offer the best guidance to everyone that wants to be guided and supported through my work. And obviously, this being my last day, I'm reflecting on my stay on these past 6 months, because as I mentioned multiple times, this is my Pluto line. Puerto Vallarta lies on my Pluto line. It puts Pluto in my first house. So the Pluto line is ascendant Pluto line. So that's all about new beginnings. And I have the biggest transformations and the biggest awakenings, and like a lot of things get activations, that's the word I was looking for, the biggest activations when I'm here. And this is my 4th time, number 4, interesting, also associated with Saturn, right? Yeah, it feels like the last leg of the table, the last of the leg of the chair is now in place, and now the spirit is saying, okay, you set, now it's time to go. It's time to go and start a new cycle somewhere else with different people, like to find your tribe, find your community. There's a lot of that coming in for me, and I know my soul sister Marisa, she's been sharing this a lot, because the card of Three of Cups has been coming up a lot in her readings, which is about rejoicing and celebrating and creating communities, right? Also, Four of Wands, also about creating the harmony of home and stability and stuff. So I feel that many of us are called to doing exactly that, to really withdraw our focus and our prana and life force from all this chaos that's going on all around the world. Because I mean, again, how much of that can we really change, right? I mean, what we can change, of course, let's do it. But there are things that are outside of outside of our control, right? So I feel that more and more people are starting to focus on their microcosm. Like, okay, how can I create a better environment that, you know, I'm living in, I'm sharing with people I care about? Like, how can we co-create something in our little microcosm that actually is going to be supporting us, rather than spreading ourselves thin by worrying about all these things that we cannot change and cannot control, and then we don't even have the energy to manage our own life because we are depleted. All the life force is already gone into all this worrying and all this distraction, right? All the distractions. So I feel, just like what I've been working on in the past 6 months here, like trying to really heal the things that keep coming up for me in my personal life, and trying to learn the things that I needed to learn, because these repeated patterns, they are coming up for a reason, because there is a lesson that is not integrated, there are wounds that not been healed. And yeah, in the past 6 months, I really feel, looking back, like where I was at in November when I first arrived in Puerto Vallarta, November 2023, I feel that I've gone a long way. I feel that a lot has taken place. A lot has shifted for me. And there's definitely been a lot more activations. As I mentioned briefly, I started channeling light language. It's all in the early stages, so I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with all of this, but yeah, I am really grateful for all these experiences. Also, there's been the shadows of my belief systems with regards to relationships and relational dynamics that been popping up for me, because as of 2 days ago, now I'm 39, and yeah, you know, there's been things that needed me to look at and pay attention to, because again, like, we didn't really come here to live, majority of us didn't come here to live in isolation at the top of the mountain or in a cave. Some people, yes, but majority of people, no. And then you know, what kind of interactions we want to have with other humans, that is unique and depends on a person. And I'm personally not one for following the traditional setups, let's just say. I've never been one for following that, and I'm trying to find my own, what is it that I'm seeking, what it is that would work for me, what kind of communities would I like to fit into. So this is all stuff that I feel I've been processing, but I feel the entire collective is processing right now, because we can see how things are falling apart, how the structures are being dismantled, and the things that wasn't exactly, you know, like making us feel overly happy potentially, or perhaps, but they were working, they were in place, you know, they kept the wheel running, and we were all like, okay, it's not great, but it works, you know, let's just go with it, whatever. And now this is not working anymore. Like I said in my previous video, like the analogy of that, you know, the wheel is stopping, like the ship is like a ship, like a big ship, like a big cruise ship or something, like it's coming to a halt, and then it's going to turn in a different direction and go somewhere completely different. So that's what I feel like. This is what's happening for the entire collective consciousness. We come into the place of halt, like nothing's ever completely gonna stop, like that's it, there's just stillness and nothing is stopping. But I really feel that things are stopping in some way, slowing down, even though things are rapidly moving forward, which is like an oxymoron and a paradox, because everything is on a sped up mode. But we have the opportunity to change the course, right? The course is changing, and this is what I feel that I've been experiencing in my own cocoon over here. And it's so interesting, because really when I arrived, I remember the first videos I called like being in my cocoon, and that's literally what it was. I really feel that I was going through my own process of metamorphosis, which I don't even fully know what is going to come out of that, you know. But I feel like I don't know, it just, the way I can describe it the best, I really feel like a newborn. And of course, I just had a solar return, so that makes sense. And I was mentioning how exhausted I was prior to that, and it really feels like things just like switched, you know. Like, again, is it the mind over matter, which one it is? But it's not like, you know, I'm not tired or something, but I can feel my life force is coming back. But I feel in a sense like vulnerable is not the right word, but it is like really like, and not fragile either, but it's like this, these things that it's still like newborn, like it's still like, getting on its feet, and you need to take care of it. So this is kind of like an energy that I'm interacting with at the moment, that I feel like there is some fresh some fresh life that is coming in, and I'm not quite sure where is it going to go and what am I going to do with it. And what I just described is literally the Aries archetype. There is this new sampling coming out, like getting through the earth and going like, okay, now what am I going to grow up to be? So this is where I feel I am at. Like this past 6 months, I felt I was going through my own process of metamorphosis, where I was processing things, and a lot of things were showing up as I kept sharing, technically almost on weekly basis. There was something that universe wanted me to look at and work with and transmute and transcend. And in many cases, if not many cases, but in certain cases, when I didn't learn the lesson the first week, then it just kept being passed on to the next one, like I've been sharing with, the dentist problem and all this shopping and stuff like that, like unresolved issues. Okay, we move it on to the next week. We're gonna have to look at it again. We have to revise. We need to make a new choice under all circumstances, right? So I feel that obviously it's never fully done. It's never truly the end, right? Like the card that we pulled recently, but we've done what we could. We all doing the best we can. It's never ever like all done in one life. Even though in this life there is much more being done than any time before, because of the nature of times we are living in right now. So so now I really feel with all this astrology that it's so aligned, like with, and you see, like I wasn't booking my flights and planning my travel, like looking at the chart and see, oh, what's gonna be happening? Oh yeah, Mars Neptune conjunction. Oh yeah, let me that be the last day, and then the day Venus moves into Taurus and Mars moves into Aries. Those are the days when I'm going to be relocating again and doing this big travel again, and with all my stuff, right? Like I wasn't looking at that. You would think like, oh, she's an astrologer for sure, she picks the best dates. No, I don't. I'm not this electional astrologer. And anyway, I still feel that, like whatever the intuition will tell you, that go with this, you find a ticket that for whatever reason appeals to you, you go with it, you just book it, that's it. I had recently my good friend of mine asking like, oh, it's still Mercury retrograde, like is it okay to book a flight? And I'm like, well, do whatever you feel is the right thing for you. Don't allow the astrology to scare you from living your life, especially Mercury retrograde. I mean, Mercury goes retrograde 3 to 4 times a year. So now we cannot stop living life for 3 weeks every 3 months. I mean, come on. So, obviously there are things that, we can say like, oh, well, it's, potentially preferable not to do them at this time, but then again, you are the creator of your reality. So going back to this example which I was saying, I didn't go looking at astrology and searching like, hey, what's happening exactly on the day when I'm flying. I didn't even have an ephemeris for this period of time at the time. I mean, I booked my flight last summer, so I didn't even have a ephemeris. Well, I didn't have my my astrological thing that I look at for transits and stuff. I didn't even have that available to me, like at the exact date, what's going on, like, of course I knew the lunations and stuff, but not all the details, so I didn't think about it. But now obviously experiencing the right here, right now, it's perfect. It's perfect. Today my last day. Mars Neptune conjunction in Pisces, of course. Why not? And it's sextile in my natal Mars, because my natal Mars is on 29 degrees of Taurus. So it's just it's just all working out, I guess, the way it's supposed to. So I know, because again, we are all connected and we are all mirror to one another, and as above, so below, as within, so without, that there are a lot of people going through exactly the same thing. Potentially not everybody will be relocating or traveling or moving houses or something, but I know that for all of us, in some shape and forms, in some way, there is this new life. There's this new life we can feel that is coming. There is this new energy that is being introduced into our life, and we are like, okay, well, who are you? Where is this going? What are we doing with you? And it's like, well, here I am, Aries, here I am, even though we are in Taurus season, which is why it feels so much more tangible. because once Mars moves into Aries, it being in its rulership, but Sun is still in the sign of Taurus, and Venus also, just like as of tomorrow, is in the sign of Taurus also as the ruler. This is very powerful, because this is now when we really start like feeling it, you know. It's not just this sparkle of like, oh yeah, this new earth is coming, you know. It's all like out there, it's somewhere else, you know. It's somewhere else, it's not here, it's not manifest, it's not in a form. But now things are starting to form, you know, like we can start feeling and we can start experiencing it. But yeah, actually it is happening, it really is happening. And yeah, we don't know where we're going, you know. It's about Taurus. Does this feel good? Does it not feel? How does it feel? You know, Taurus is all about the senses, right? How does this make me feel? We need to reconnect with ourselves, get to know ourselves better. I mean, we'll have the new moon in Taurus, right? Which is all about this new beginning, new chapter with regards to what is your relationship towards yourself. And this is something which I was being challenged by the spirit in one of my readings, when they said, we're not going to tell you all the answers. Like, you need to, you need to learn to trust yourself. You need to try to hone that gift that is within you. You're not always going to get the answers you know or you want. And that's actually what I do with my clients most of the time. I ask the questions so they can find their own answers, but I don't give them the answer. I don't tell them, go and do this, you know, because what do I know? You know, I'm not living your life. And it's the same way when I ask questions. And I'm very well aware most of the time I'm not going to get the answer. You know, sometimes yes, sometimes no. Because the answer comes when it's supportive to the process of stepping into your power, of actually owning your gifts and stuff. But sometimes it's not supportive. And then we have to go and figure it out ourselves, right? We have to go through the Virgo, through the passage of a hero's journey, the learning and adjusting and falling on our butt and then getting up and try again, you know. Just like I was sharing these multiple experiences. Oh yeah, it didn't work out first time, second time, third time. Well, how many more times do I want to have the same lesson? Like, perhaps I need to do something different now, right? And yeah, and like I said, with regards to the relational patterns as well, like, because, you know, I've been pretty much single all my life, with a brief exception of very short period of time when I was in relationships, and I'm like, well, why is that? You know, why is that? So yeah, so there were definitely these outdated beliefs and subconscious programs that I had to look at, you know, and I'm still looking at. It's not like I got it all sorted out and, you know, I'm getting married tomorrow or something. Absolutely not. And I don't think that is something that I will be doing anyway, but it's just something that needs looking at, because it's like, okay, well, you know, like, how is this aspect of your life working out for you, you know? And then like, oh, well, it's not exactly what I want, you know, but then this is how it is. And then let's look at the stories behind it, right? So that's what I mean. You know, I'm not immune, just like everybody else. I have my own stories that are keeping me in certain situations which are not necessarily what I would like to be experiencing, but, you know, there is a learning behind everything, right? So yeah, so all in all, you know, these keynotes of this experience in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and my best friend, she was the funniest, because she said like, oh yeah, it's maxed out, it's Mexico now. So credit to Marisa from Growing the Flow, because she said that. She said like, oh yeah, it makes sense, because now it's Mexico, it's been maxed out, you know, like it's time to go. Because like I was sharing in my previous shares that, you know, like things started going wrong, you know, everything started going wrong. So I guess it's time to go. And it's like, okay, well, you know, do you want to leave on that note? Do you want to leave with that story that, oh yeah, everything's going wrong for me there, you know? But no, it's just like, yeah, universe is giving you the subtle push in certain different direction, but it doesn't mean that it was all bad, you know. No, I had a great time, I had a great experience, but I do feel that it's time to go. I do feel that that pool is somewhere else, and I do not feel the excitement of coming back as I did before. Each time I left Mexico, I knew I was going to come back, because I knew it was exciting for me to even think about it or to feel into that possibility. But now I don't feel that way. It's not like I don't like it here anymore, but I feel energetically I need to go somewhere else. So this is what I mean, like nobody can give you these answers, only you can give them to yourself, but you need to really get to know yourself. That this Taurus, just like I had the opportunity, now in the past 6 months, by being fortunate to be removed from the hustle and bustle of the world and my family dynamics and everyone, just being here in my cocoon and being able to just to get to know myself better, and to observe these patterns and these stories that are creating these patterns. And now we are at the point of culmination, the one day before 12 before I leave, and thinking like, okay, what did I learn and what does this mean and where is this taking me? Because the main thing I'm dragging with me, apart from my luggage, which is always a story of the issue the issue story, which should be rewritten really, and I can rewrite it, but I haven't managed to do it yet. So anyway, the other most important thing is, of course, the experience. What have we learned? What have we learned that we now can apply into the next chapter, going forward, and whatever that will look like. So yes, so I don't know what else to really add, because I don't want to just keep rambling around the same thing. And I do have a message, and I did pick 3 decks plus the good old Rider-Waite Tarot, Major Arcana, which I didn't pull from in my astrological forecast because I ran out of time. But to be honest, the decks that I pulled were the ones that were at the top, because everything is packed, including my tarot and all my decks. And I just pulled the ones that when I opened the suitcase, I was like, oh, okay, this is the one at the top. This one is winking at me. Let's take those. But I did have an inclining towards certain decks, and actually 2 of them were the ones that were at the top. So I was like, okay, well, that worked out. And the last one, I was just, okay, well, this one wants to speak to us. Let's see what message it has. So yeah, so that's it. So like I said, based on my individual experience, I know collectively we are moving into these new, fresh horizons, if we can say that. I mean, of course, we're gonna have the full moon in Sagittarius next month, but yeah, we're starting the process of growing. The seed is now growing. It's growing, and we're going to see through experience how is it all gonna fare up, and what is going to grow out of it. And of course, it's never truly ends. So it's not like we're gonna have all the answers by the end of the year or something, because we start in a brand new cycle as a human collective on this planet. This is something that is very, very new for us. There is something that the old stories and the old programs and the old ways of doing are not necessarily going to be helpful, because we're moving into something completely different, where the rules of the game will be different. So anyway, guys, so I'm gonna leave it at that, because like I said, I just feel I'm just rambling at this point, and I don't really have anything more to add. So let's just read the message, and then we're just going to pull some cards and leave it at that, because yeah, there is a lot. Even though everything is packed, there is still a lot going on, with regards to the preparation for my onward travels and so on. So anyway, let's see. So what do my spirit guides want me to share today? And they say, culminations. Everything that once began will come to the point of culmination and natural end. So a new cycle can begin, because nothing ever truly ends. Because nothing truly ends or dies. However, in a linear way of experiencing reality there on planet Earth, things have their beginning and their point of end. This is something you are all experiencing right now, individually and collectively. However, this is nothing new, because the entire life in human form consists of cycles beginning and ending. Only some are more impactful and profound than others. After the illumination of the shadow aspects of your current reality brought to you by the last Scorpio full moon, it is very strongly felt what is no longer in alignment and no longer supporting you on your path moving forward. Old wounds are making themselves felt so they can be healed. All relationship patterns that are no longer working for you are becoming more and more difficult to ignore. This is positive because because changes are necessary. Sometimes things need to get very uncomfortable to get you unstuck and moving, because humans are so adaptable and willing to bend in order to survive. Sometimes it's not so easy to realize when no more bending towards the same outcome is required, and moving away from that situation is what is needed. It's all about discernment and applying the wisdom of the all that you have available to you to tap into at this time. Even though it might not feel like that at times, you have an incredible amount of resources, help, and support available to you. Your intention and your focus on manifesting the outcome that feels good to you is important. Mostly the focus goes on worrying and trying to prevent that which you don't want and which doesn't feel so good. Shift your focus and follow your inner compass. Follow the voice of your heart and your own intuitive guidance, so your soul, your higher self, and your spirit guides can help to support you on your path. This life, this experience, is a co-creation. Many beings are invested in helping you to co-create a much more harmonious and peaceful life experience there on planet Earth. Beautiful Gaia with her riches and wisdom. You are and will be supported, dear ones. Still your mind and listen to the voice within. Take time to connect, make time to just be, and to fill yourself with love that you are all seeking. The heart-centered way of being is the way forward. There has to be more balance between your ego mind and your heart. Currently, the mind runs the show most of the time, but the mind doesn't know what hasn't happened yet. So in order to create a different outcome to the situations you are experiencing that are the mirror of the past, your hearts have to come online. The divine feminine and the divine masculine aspects of you all have to be rebalanced for harmony and peace to be reestablished once again. Everything is needed and everyone has a role to play. Eventually, all will lead to the same destination. But while you are experiencing your journeying through this life in the physical form, make the most out of it. There's a lot to be experienced there on Earth, a lot to be enjoyed and savored. It's a mixed bag of all sorts. I don't know if you guys know, there is this licorice all sorts they have in the UK. So it's a mixed bag of all sorts. Pick the one that tastes best to you right now. You always have a choice how you can experience any given moment, depending on what aspect of it you are focusing on, which is based on how much healing has been done or how much still needs healing. Don't take life all too seriously though. It's a fast and exciting ride and it can be gone in a blink of an eye. So don't miss out on the view. Focus on that which makes you feel happy and connected. We are always with you and always available to help. Call on us whenever you need. You are loved always. Okay, so this is the message, not too long. And now I'm going to pull some cards and we're going to go from there towards the culmination of this video. Okay, let me see, what do I have first? I'm just thinking which deck to use first. I think I'm going to use the Inner Child Oracle. Yeah, let's use the Inner Child Oracle first, because this one actually I was thinking about using anyway. Because I feel that this past 6 months there was a lot of inner child healing that's been going on. Not just for myself, I'm sure this was also for the collective, because these are the wounds, the ancestor wounds and the inner child wounds. As I said, they are interconnected, because the unhealed ancestral wounding becomes inner child wounding, and this is how it gets passed on. So then all these situations are created for us to be able to reconnect with these wounds so they can be healed. So let's see about the inner child message, Inner Child Oracle. Okay, so message for the collective with regards to the energies we are experiencing right now, post Scorpio full moon. Okay, one jumped out. You can do hard things. It's not as impossible as it may feel. And look, there is a boat at the ocean and all this beautiful cosmos and sky. And oh, and there are two dragonflies, which is again about the collaboration, co-creation. And actually you can see the boat is on the clouds. It's actually not on the ocean, it's in the sky. So that which seems impossible is actually possible. And I know that dragonfly, it's a very spiritual being. It always has a message from the other side. So, and it's number 41, which comes to number 5, which is a number of change, the Mercury and Uranus. You can do hard things. Okay, so let's see what the booklet says. But definitely it's time to dream. It's time to dream the things that you thought were impossible until this point. Because look, you know, the sky is the limit, but there is the entire universe, multiverse is the limit, and all these beautiful colors. There are many things in this life that we feel we cannot or should not have to do. It can be overwhelming to think about doing something that is hard, but in truth, many things we label as hard could be more appropriately labeled as simply time-consuming or long. Sometimes not wanting to do hard things can be reminiscent of mindsets we might have had in childhood, when we never wanted to clean our room or do our homework. If you have pulled this card, then you might need to reassess what has been labeled as too hard. And then there are exercises. Take time today to think upon the beliefs that might be holding you back. Are you putting yourself in a box by what you cannot or should not have to do? Sometimes choosing to push through the feeling of I do not want to do this because I do not feel like it can be quite beneficial. Note, always trust your intuition when choosing which hard activities to do, and do not attempt anything unsafe to yourself and others. And then is a journaling prompt, if you would like to journal about it. How do you feel after you have done a hard thing? Are you proud of yourself? Remember to highly praise yourself after doing this hard thing, because you deserve it. So I feel that all of us collectively, we don't really want to change. It's hard to change. It's not easy to change. And we look at the entire state of the world and we think this is not possible. It's not possible. It's too far gone. It's too much, you know, it's too much to do. And we just like check out because it's just too hard. But, you know, it's one thing at a time, one thing at a time, one person at a time, one situation at a time. And then eventually all of these create a pattern, right? A new pattern of change. Let's see what's at the bottom. You deserve to be seen. Let yourself to be known. And it's actually card 42, which is interesting because this card fell out of the deck. And now we see the next one, which is the number 6, 42, 6. Look, it's like spring and the deer. Deer and the bird. I don't know what bird it is. I'm not good with birds. I don't know much about them. But we have the moon. There is a full moon. And there is like a full bloom, right? The spring flowers. And here and there we got the rainbow. Here is a rainbow. You know, the spirit is present. So this seems like a very tranquil theme. So we can do this, you know, we're sailing in a new direction. It's not easy and we feel like giving up because there is too much to be done. But look, eventually we'll get there. We'll get exactly where we need to go. You deserve to be seen. Okay, let's see. Within each of us, no matter how deep it might reside, is someone who desperately longs to be seen and cherished for who they are. This is a normal desire that is crucial to our well-being and the embodiment of our true self. It is not selfish, nor it is anything to be ashamed of. The gift of being seen is something that was meant to be given to us as children by a trusted caregiver, but sometimes they were unable to do so. There can be various reasons for this, and even if a caregiver did love us, they might still not have been able to truly see us as we are. In truth, it can be easier to see a person through our own lens instead of letting that person show us a new view of the world. If you feel there are parts of you that would benefit from being seen, now is the time to do so. In the same way, it is healing for another to see us. It can be just as beneficial for us to see ourselves. an acceptance exercise. For this exercise, think at least of one thing you are very good at, but you have not allowed yourself to claim as yours. Once you have something in mind, make I am statements. These statements can be about anything you like, but they should provide a sense of empowerment when you say them aloud. A few examples are: I am powerful, I am kind, I'm amazing at board games. Get as specific as you can regarding your awesomeness. Write down your I am statements and place them somewhere you will see them throughout your day. Whenever you see these statements, speak them aloud with conviction. Believe that what you are speaking about yourself is irrevocably true. Responsive journaling prompt. How do you feel after a day of practicing I am statements? Is there anything holding you back from believing your own awesomeness? So I feel this is, again, because this is a collective message, we don't really want to be seen for who we are because of the bending that we had to do to survive in this society until this point. And now it's like it's vulnerable, just like, I was saying, I feel like a little bit like a vulnerable, like being like reborn, like there is a new energy that I'm tapping into. It's like, ooh, like what am I doing with this? So, I mean, this deer obviously has horns, so it's not Bambi, but still, like being seen, but someone who maybe didn't see us before, the way that we really are. And I really feel that this is like, because with the age of Aquarius, as we keep saying, Aquarius is in opposition with Leo, it's about the authenticity. So we are actually trying to crack open from this conditioning and program that we've been all, a part of, all these games that we played, being asleep. But actually now we're sailing somewhere different, and we want to be seen for who we are, the authentic self, with the rainbow, because we all came here to play a role, and now the role might be changing, or we might be just stepping into our role, the true role. So the authenticity is very important, and I know that's been coming up a lot for me, as well, in my personal messages, the authenticity. Okay, so I naturally have reached for this Priestess of Light, so I'm going to pull the next card from here. And it's interesting because I haven't even shuffled now, and I have a card that appeared for me on my screen, but I don't know if that's the one that's gonna fall out, but let's see. Okay, so this is Priestess of Light from Kimberly Weber and Sandra Antayla. So we go from the inner child to the adult, to the divine feminine inside of each of us, the true power of creation. Okay, message for the collective, please. Okay, one jumped out. Deep emotions, unknown feelings, past life influences. Look, all that illumination of the crown chakra, and the circles, interesting, circles within circles, and it's number 15, which is again number 6. We have already 2 6s, which is about balance. So we can see there are a lot of patterns on this card. Also, she has her hands covered with tattoos, and she's listening to something. She's adjusting a big headpiece, so there is a lot that we are carrying. A lot of wisdom also that we carry from the past. The circles are coming around. It's the circle to me, it's about, the creation of life. The circles are coming around. There is this sacred geometry, right? You can see the triangle. I'm not overly familiar with that symbol, so I don't know what it means. But just the fact that we have a massive circle here around her crown, I feel that these circles are coming around because they are helping us to awaken, to awaken our connection to all there is, the cosmos, deep emotions. Okay, let's see. Okay, there is a noise outside again, right on time for me to be recording. Just have to laugh about these things now. Okay, let's see. Number 15. Deep emotions, unknown feelings, past life influences. This priestess of the depths, here we go, priestess of the depths, welcomes you to a side of life that most people never explore. The sacred triangle above her head represents the trinity of time, past, present, and future. Okay, so that's what it is. Here we go. Past, present, and future. It is surrounded by the circle of eternity, reminding you of the unending nature of life, cyclical, continuous, and connected. The ocean is layered with currents of all different speeds and directions. These layers of moving vibrations are like the emotions of your life. It's time to understand your patterns of motivations and reaction and recognize how you are affected by things going on beneath the surface. Profound feelings you might not be facing are often still enough to direct your destiny, whether you want them to or not. Longing, attachment, and fear could send you in the entire different direction that you desire. Such influences might stem from past lives, but whatever the origin, you need not be stuck with them forever. Look honestly at the patterns of your life to identify the undercurrents of emotions that are misdirecting you. Affirm that you can release toxic emotions and let go of longing and need. Call upon your own eternal spirit to help you navigate these depths of feeling and influence. The power of your soul transcends all limits of time, space, and energetic currents. When you feel the depth of peace it brings, you will be able to make conscious advantage of each moment and achieve joy in all currents of your present experience. The present is a drop of life that cannot be separated from the vast ocean that is your eternal truth. So choose to infuse it with power and peace. And the affirmation is, I release longing and fear. I peacefully direct the current of my life in every present moment. That's so interesting because it really speaks to me with this card. the current of spirit is taking you somewhere, right? We've been reborn, there is all these dragonflies, and now we can see, and that's literally what I was talking about, and also what was in the channeled message, that we are becoming very conscious about these patterns, the outdated patterns, relational patterns, and just generally patterns that our life consists of. And eternal life, circle of life. This is also what was in the message, things are never truly ending. Everything is always available at the same time, but by re-experiencing the same outdated patterns, we have the opportunity to change the pattern, right? So anyway, very interesting. Okay, let's check what's on the bottom of the deck, because I always check after, and it's always something very resonating. Building your world. I mean, you can't make this up. And it's another 6. It's 33, master number frequency. And look at all this purity. And she's in the tree. She's grounding, and there is all this light coming from her earth. She's surrounded by light, and she also, she's got this stone and her third eye and her heart. You can see all the chakras are connected by the light. It's coming from her crown, and it's coming all the way to the base. And she's all in white, the purity. And she seems to be within the tree, the grounded, that connectedness to the spirit by being in a physical form. And there are already these plants that are growing. Building your world, creation, expansion, and networking. So we feel in our deep emotion to see the old patterns, so we can change the patterns because they create in our life, whether consciously or subconsciously. But at the same time, we are building our world, right? Okay, let's see what this one has to say. 33, master number frequency, Christ consciousness. Building your world, creation, expansion, and networking. Oh, okay, this is a priestess of bees. Okay, so that is actually a beehive behind her. I don't know if you can say it. The priestess of bees sits peacefully in the hollow of a tree, gathering the energy of the bees that fly around her. Oh yeah. These tiny little lights are bees. Bees are all about creation. And it's also, I know that I referred to it in the past messages, that we are like a beehive, right? I heard other light workers referring to human collective as a beehive. Co-creating together, working towards the same goal. And I know it was also coming up in my soul sisters messages about the bees. So here we go. Priestess of the bees sits peacefully in the hollow of a tree, gathering the energy of the bees that fly around her and rest on her fingertips and third eye. She's surrounded by the honeycomb, and through her vision, though her vision is turned inward, her thoughts are focused on outer plants taking shape. The bee is one nature's most industrious creatures, and this card foretells a time of great productivity and expansion for you. If you've been thinking about growing your business or creating an entirely new one, focus on those intentions now. Your dreams may also include composing music, writing, teaching, painting, cooking, or baking, which are all projects that build on ideas and produce nectar for the body, mind, and soul. They do require repeated attention and action, so take time to create a plan, set some goals, and bring both the creative and technical elements together. The bee is also a symbol of fertility, so the expansion foretold there here might relate to family matters. A child or children on the way, new in-laws through marriage, or even reconnecting with distant friends or relatives are all ways that you may be expanding your personal network. On a practical level, this card could also indicate a career in architecture, design, or construction. It could also signify connection with people who do such work. You might even be building a new house or expanding your present one. The bees join together to assemble their hive structure and provide for their community, increasing value for all. Now is the perfect time for you to build the world you desire, so make your plans and set to work. Affirmation: I have the power to create my world and prioritize the project that I desire. As I continue to take action, my joy and fulfillment expand. I mean, this is exactly what I've been talking about with regards to what's happening. You know, these patterns, yes, we see the patterns of the past. Everything had become illuminated to us. So we had to look at it. We cannot hide from it anymore. I mean, Pluto squared the full moon, but that is giving us the opportunity to create the new. So that's what I started this entire video with, when I was saying that, yeah, there is all this chaos, there is all this stuff going on in the world, but it's up to us to retrieve, to call our power back, our attention, our focus, our prana, and start building in the small ways, you know, like in our immediate environments. And, you know, I know that myself included, people are looking for communities, people are looking for their tribe, for people that they can co-create with, whatever it is that they desire. I know a lot of people, you know, are concerned about the things happen with regards to educational system and the changes that are making them feel unsafe and stuff. So people are going to start creating alternative ways, you know, alternative ways that children can be, for example, children could be educated, right? So there is a lot going on, but it's all through the connection, you know, we are all connected. We are all connected because we are co-creating together, and it's like all the hands are on the ground, right? All the hands on the decks, or how do you say, right? But everybody here on the ground is co-creating. We are all co-creating this new world together. We were born for these times. We were born for these reasons, because we knew on a soul level that this was coming. These times where the old will no longer be supporting us, and we will have to start building the new while the old is still somehow holding in a place, so it doesn't all completely falls apart, yeah? But we can see the patterns. So let's just notice so this is what we really see. We see the patterns because of the illumination of the full moon. This also, you could say, is like a moon, right? And we had the full moon on that authenticity card, right? Because it showed us where we can't be authentic. You know, what do we want, but where we maybe feel we can't have it, we can't do it. You know, we want to be seen for who we are, but are we? Are we really seen? How many people are really living authentic life, the life that they want? Most people are just settling because they feel they have no choice, because that's what everybody's doing, right? But the universe is saying, dream bigger. The universe is the limit, you know. The spirit is helping us, you know, with these dragonflies, and it's also about this, you know, lives, past lives, and rebirth. And also I feel is the call to ancestors, you know. The ancestors are supporting us from the spirit, the entire cosmos, you know, like I was saying in the channeled message, there is, you know, like there are beings invested in us. Like it's not we might think, oh yeah, what do they want, you know, or whatever. But it's like when we understand that we are all part of the one, and we are all affecting everybody else, then of course that there are beings invested in us not blowing up the planet because it's gonna impact everybody else. So it's like, okay, well, let's create something better for all of us, right? So this is so spot on, because the full moon illuminated to us where we don't have what we want, because it showed us the patterns of the past that are coming around to be healed, because round and round it goes, right? Past, present, and future all happening simultaneously. And at the same time, we can do it. We know we can do it because we work together, like the beehive. We are all creating together. We might not know of each other, like what is your name and who you are, but we know there is an energy. I know that there are people doing the same thing I'm doing. I don't have to know them all personally, but I know there are many people helping to co-create this change we will be all experiencing. And this is the other deck that I really wanted to use. It's called Beyond Lemuria. I think I already used it in one of the readings, maybe at the end of the year and beginning of this one, I'm not sure, but anyway, it's a cute little deck, and I know that I had my past life or lives in Lemuria, and this one is called Beyond Lemuria. So we had this inner child passing out the message, right? Now we had the priestess of the light, and now we see what our past versions of ourselves beyond Lemuria, because we can see, like with Atlantis, Lemuria, there are aspects of these incarnations that we had in these civilizations that are coming online as well. With the Lemuria, it's like, this spirituality and the connection, to the divine and to the spirit and the wisdom of that. But with the Arcturians, I don't know why Arcturians want to be present. Okay, for sure Arcturians too. But the Atlantis, Atlantis, Arcturians, I think that's very connected. It's all this mind, the wisdom of our mind, the technology, all these things, but they've been misused for the things that didn't support our spiritual path. So this is where we are at. We are again at the crossroads, because the patterns are repeating. They are being illuminated. So we have the opportunity to make the new choice, because we all been here before. It didn't look exactly the way it does, but the energy was very similar. So let's see the Beyond Lemuria, what it will tell us about these times. Okay, Beyond collective message from Lemurian origins. Let's see what. Oh, there is a card. The Infinite. Oh wow, these cards are so beautiful. They have such lovely colors. That's number 49, which is 13, which is about number 4, stability. Look, you can see the symbol of eternity. She's sitting in meditation, connected to all, and this is Lichen, connected to cosmos again. Everything is always the infinite. Everything is always connected, and everything is always continuing. Again, the infinity symbol. And isn't this like the Egyptian, right? I don't know what it's called. I know it was in Egypt. Sarcophagus? What was it called? I forgot. I'm not very... I don't know if I had a past life in Egypt, but I'm not that connected to Egypt. But anyway, I have it on my mind, but I can't think of the word. But this bug. And there is a DNA. You can see strands of DNA that are being recreated. Everything is being recreated right now. It's part of the evolution. Everything is changing. Gosh, I don't know what is that bug called. I need to pause. I need to find out what is it called. It's bugging me. Okay, so I did a little research. So it's called scarab, and it's the symbol of rebirth and good luck. And actually, I quickly just checked for the dragonfly as well. And the dragonfly is about strength, courage, and transformation. The dragonfly that we have here. Be strong, courageous, because we are all transforming, and it's necessary, but don't worry, the cosmos are supporting us, and it's allowing us to step into our authenticity, right? Authenticity. So the scarab, it's about rebirth, and we can see that the infinity, we are being reborn, right? And it's about the DNA. The DNA is changing. The human DNA is transforming. Okay, let's see what is the meaning. 49. 49. Okay, here we go. The infinite, the eternal life force. Can you see? Okay. The eternal life force, cycles of growth, rising from the ashes, many deaths and rebirths within one's life. You are so much more than your physical body. The beings in Lemuria are said to have lived for many hundreds of years. As they were only partially incarnated, their bodies were much lighter, less physically actualized, and less affected by aging. They were also aware of their infinite nature. The Lemurians were multidimensional beings and regularly traversed realms other than the physical, including the places before and after death. As we become aware that we are so much more than our physical bodies, we may experience a sense of the eternal. Thus fear around death gives way to recognizing new beginnings, so we remember what is real and focus on what we wish for this life. Whatever we believe will happen when our body goes back to the earth, we can live to the fullest while we are here in this incarnation. That's exactly what the message said. Don't take life too seriously. Enjoy it. You might feel like you have led many lives and expressed different faces to the world. We can experience many mini deaths and rebirths as we allow outdated parts of ourselves to fall away. When we choose to align our lives with our spirit, we may find we experience more of those mini deaths. They can be daunting, but are fast-tracking our growth to prepare us for the shiny and new chapter that reckons. This card of rebirth, divinatory meanings. This card of rebirth can appear after challenges that have required a level of surrender. You have arrived at the beginning. Revel in your newfound inner freedom. Blockages have fallen away, doors are opening, and there are opportunities to step into. Stretch your wings and see how far they can reach. Rise from the ashes like the phoenix, born anew, ready for a new cycle of growth. Celebrate, honor the road that brought you here and prepare to take flight with the tools you have gathered through your elevation process. Wow, that's perfect. It's so much in alignment with everything else that was coming through. Same message. Transformation, preparing for the new chapter, cycles are ending, new beginnings, and let's be grateful for everything that led us to this point because it was necessary. And at the bottom of the text, you have trust your innocence. Trust your innocence. Look at all that white. Trust your childlike innocence because that's the heart. The innocence, the child, the inner child within is the connection to the heart. Okay, trust your innocence. 54, number 9. 54. Truth, trusting yourself, being real with people, knowing the difference between intuition and paranoia, uncensored feelings, returning to innocence. It can be hard to decipher between intuition and what our mind is telling us. Stories, projections, expectations, or fear can arise under the guise of intuition. To distinguish truthful inner guidance from paranoia, we must return to innocence, to our purest essence. Here we have access to the truth of our being. Oh my God, that's like this one. The innocence. Right? What were the first feelings or visions you had when you considered the question at hand, before you second-guessed yourself? How does it feel in your body when you are brutally honest with yourself? Try to go beyond the layers of what you have been taught to believe about yourself. When some of the logic falls away, what answers remain? When you ask a young child a question, they don't censor their answers. Their honesty might not be considered polite or socialized. It might even seem a bit funny, but it's their truth. And it's interesting to note how intuitive children naturally are. To tell the difference between intuition and mind chatter, you need to recognize a clear instinctive yes and instinctive no. For this, you must trust yourself. The foundation of self-trust is honesty. You must be completely honest with yourself about what feels good, true, and real to you and what does not. Honesty is more than not lying to yourself. It is also about not withholding information. It is about having too deep transparency within yourself. Some might describe their intuitive yes as a softening rather than feeling of tightening, contracting, or avoidance. If we are to stay on our optimal path, trusting our original innocence or instinct is key. Divinatory meaning: learn to trust your inner sense or intuition. You are encouraged to be absolutely honest with yourself. Cast aside any mind stories and shoulds that you tell yourself. In your heart of hearts, you know the answers, dare to listen and to honor them. This card may also relate to being truthful with another person. Relationships can only deepen when we can be real with each other. Consider your timing and be considerate, but this is a time for truth. Oh my God, it's the same thing. Be authentic, learn to trust yourself. That's the key, because the patterns of the past are coming up, and the only way we're going to co-create a different world where the sky is the limit. We are reborn. Everything is changing. We are being transformed. We are stepping into our true essence, our divinity. The DNA is changing. Eventually we'll go back to being more light than dense. But the core of all of that is to trust yourself. Be authentic and trust yourself. Return to the innocence. And again, I know this is one of the messages that was coming up strongly in my Soul Sisters readings with the tarot. So everything is saying the same thing. We are going through massive process of transformation where cycles are ending, new cycles are beginning, and we are forced to really go within and learn about who we really are and what we really want, and then co-create it together, because it's not going to happen on its own. This is why we came. We didn't come here just to we came here to have the totality of the experience. We didn't come here just to have a good life or a bad life. We came here to do it all, and at the same time to co-create together a different world, right? And that's why we're getting so much help and support as well, because we signed up for this. We need to be brave and courageous and create that which we want, but being honest with ourselves about what it is, right? Okay, just one more final card from the Major Arcana. Let's see, Major Arcana, guidance. Oops, okay, that's multiple cards. One card, Spirit, please. Guidance with regards to the next week. Okay, one card. The Fool! Looks like me, right? And at the bottom is the Hanged Man. Okay, let's see. Delays, but also new perspective, you know, because this is how the figurine looks in the world. New perspective, what have we learned by turning everything upside down so we can start again. So it's funny because this is actually the card of Neptune. Hanged Man is the card of Neptune. It's number 12, which comes to number 3, co-creation. Again, collaborations, communities, co-creations. What are we co-creating? But the Fool, number 0, the unlimited potential. And there is a yellow, look, there is a yellow sun, and around this crown, it's a yellow sun. And the red, co-creating together. It's got the red backpack, and it's all yellow, solar plexus, creating the new horizon, setting up on a journey, creating a new adventure, starting from the 0. Because of today's Mars-Neptune conjunction, the cycles are ending. We need to understand the meaning, a new perspective, fresh perspective. So the cycle can end, like the world, right? And the number 3, in opposition with Hanged Man, is the Empress. Taurus, Empress, Venus, which is again about connecting with yourself, trusting yourself that you can create, because we are the divine spirit incarnate that came here to have an experience. And look at the white rose, the innocence. It can be all different things, right? And the dog, the human, Anyway, most people know what this represents, the Fool. We start in a new cycle. And we learning from the past. Need to see things from a new perspective, otherwise we will never move forward and we just keep recreating the same patterns. And the time has run out, so we no longer can do that. because we are being transformed and we are co-creating the new world. 33, heart consciousness, Christ consciousness together. Because the sky is the limit, the universe is the limit. You can do the hard things. We can do it. Okay, guys, I'm gonna leave it at that. I wish you all a wonderful week, and I'll speak to you from the other side of the ocean, hopefully. Okay, much love, everyone. Have a great week, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.